40,000 years ago, Europe was dominated by giant glaciers, snow-covered forests, frozen rivers, and wind-blown cold. In these harsh natural conditions, a different yet familiar human species was struggling to survive: Neanderthals. This mysterious species, which some call our lost cousins, faced the cruelest face of nature. They lived by fighting giant mammoths, predatory cave bears, and endless cold. But they not only survived, they also carved their thoughts, feelings, and perhaps even dreams into rocks, bones, and stones. They were not just hunters. They were also among the first artists, the first thinkers. But who were these lost cousins of ours? What do we know about them? Let's take a journey through the mists of time and into the world of the Neanderthals. Will we recognize a Neanderthal when we saw one? Today, if a Neanderthal were to stand side by side with us, we would be able to recognize him immediately. His forehead was more sloping, he had thick brow arches above his eyes, and his nose was quite wide. But what would really stand out would be their short but muscular bodies. Indeed, Neanderthals were the people of the Ice Age, shaped by nature. Scientists have shown that these physical characteristics were no coincidence. On the contrary, they were perfectly adapted to the harsh conditions of the Ice Age. For example, their large nostrils allowed them to warm and humidify cold air before it entered. Their short, stocky build helped them retain body heat. Their thick bones and strong musculature made them resilient to hunting and physical challenges at every moment of their lives. But what about their minds? Neanderthals were not only strong, they were also an intelligent species. The average Neanderthal had a brain volume of 1,500 cubic centimeters, even slightly larger than that of a modern human. Of course, brain volume alone is not an indicator of intelligence, but this size suggests that they may have had complex thinking skills. How do we know this? From the figures they drew on cave walls, the tools made from bones, and the way they shaped stones. For example, the stone tool technology known as Mysterian culture shows that they didn't just break stones at random, but carefully shaped them for a specific function. They were masters of hunting strategy. Neanderthal had to hunt giant mammoths, bison, and cave bears to survive. They did this not only with brute force, but also with intelligence. Evidence from the excavations at La Côte de Saint-Brelade on the island of Jersey shows that they hunted animals by dragging them up cliffs, a strategy that required planning, cooperation, and communication, not just a stone spear. So Neanderthals had a highly developed social intelligence. But what about their emotions? Did they bury their dead? One of the most impressive findings is the respect they showed for their dead. A Neanderthal individual was found buried with flowers in Shanidar Cave in Iraq. Pollen analysis revealed that flowers were placed in the grave of this individual. What does this mean? Perhaps they were questioning what death was, just like us. Maybe they were mourning. Maybe they were dreaming. Maybe they were feeling the pain of losing a loved one. Then what happened? Why did the Neanderthals disappear? Around 60,000 years ago, Homo sapiens began to spread out of Africa and into Eurasia, crossing paths with the Neanderthals. Was this encounter war or peace? Enmity or coexistence? The answer is surprising. Modern genetic research has revealed that these two species didn't just meet, they mixed. Today, people of European and Asian descent have between 1% and 4% Neanderthal genes in their DNA, which may influence many of our traits, from our immune system to our hair structure. So they didn't actually disappear completely. Somehow they continue to live in US. So why did they disappear? There is no single answer to this question. Maybe rapidly changing climatic conditions weakened them. Maybe they competed for resources with Homo sapiens. Maybe they were not immune to the diseases we carry. But one thing is certain, Neanderthals were not as primitive and crude as they are thought to be. They too thought, planned, felt. Could they come back? Today, some scientists argue that it may be technically possible to use Neanderthal DNA to bring them back to life. But that leaves us with another question. Is it ethical to recreate an extinct human species? Would it be offering them a new life, or would it be turning them into experimental material? This is no longer just science fiction, but a serious debate. Their traces are still with us. The Neanderthals are gone, but their genetic and cultural traces are with us. Perhaps some of the traits you experience today, your complexion, your immune system, even your mood, are their legacy. The next time you look in the mirror, you may see a piece of 40,000 years of history deep in your eyes. Are you ready to discover your inner Neanderthal? Survey, climate change B, competition with Homo sapiens C, diseases. If you enjoyed this video, Don't forget to subscribe to discover another mysterious relative in human evolution, the Denisovans, in the next installment of our series. Who were the Denisovans? Where do they live? And why are there so few traces of them left?